Someone walks into the store and they're like, so what's next, Collins? And I jokingly say, Paris Fashion Week. Neither of them question it. Okay, I can't doubt myself. Did I just plan a Paris Fashion Week show? I never even saw myself as this like top fashion designer. And I'm not invited, right? I'm not on the official calendar, I'm just there. I didn't even know how many looks you were supposed to have in a fashion show. I guess a lot of the stuff I do is just to make 15-year-old me happy or give 15-year-old me an opportunity. The train's about to come. Oh, fuck, the train. Then the train came. Oh, fuck, here comes another train. Train! I think we just fucking run with it, you know? Real authentic New York City. I come from a sports background, and so if you're not doing good, I'm gonna cut you. I'm like the tough coach type, like, get fucking better, which not everyone in 2020 can deal with.
Well, we're Gen X.
Yeah, you guys are all about it. Your parents were like, I fucking hate you. So that's good. That's the generation I like. Designers are the new rock stars. The young generation now aspires to be designers more so than rock stars or musicians or whatever. So I think the lane is super competitive, and right now is only getting more competitive because the ease of entrance with social media and even just manufacturing and just the internet is making things way more easy to just start a brand. KidSuper was kind of created as an exaggerated form of my personality. I was just authentically myself. I was really just doing my own thing within this world.
I really wanted to create a t-shirt business, and I was like, yo, let's make it, but I couldn't find a cool name.
It's funny now, when I first started out, Complex wasn't talking about me, LVMH wasn't talking about me, so I wasn't even concerned to how to navigate. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna knock down these doors. Actually, low-key Complex has never written about me. Anyways, I was born in New York City. My parents were street vendors selling goods on the side of the street in little like makeshift booths. So I think that was, my hustle came from, I mean, my mom's from Spain and my dad's from Ireland. So they had both come to America to try to make it. And that entrepreneurial American dream energy not only inspired me to try to make my own thing, but kind of made it feel possible. It was definitely a lane that I could take because it was a lane they were taking. They don't even remember their brand name. That's how little they cared about a brand, which I find funny. I moved to Mexico in the first grade. I spent a year in Mexico, and then from there I moved to Beloit, Wisconsin. And then 8th grade, I moved back to New York City. And so by the age of 13, I had lived so many different lives and I had experienced so many different cultures, socioeconomic places. And so that made me the person I was, where I could go into any room and be myself. I think a lot of people try to find out who they are in high school or college. And for me, I had already found out who I was at 12, 13, 14. So when I came back to New York City at 13, I was kind of entrepreneurial at a young age because I'd seen so many things. So, and I was always the new kid in school. So you can either be shy in the background or be like, hi, I'm Colm, let's be best friends. Another thing is, since I was moving so young, I had this like preconceived idea that I was always gonna move. So I had to make the most of every moment. And I think that's a huge part of the KidSuper spirit, is like, we don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. I might not be here, let's go. I came from Beloit, Wisconsin, where you bought your groceries, your bicycle, and your clothes in the same Walmart, right? Fashion wasn't even a thing. Then I get put into New York, where fashion is the first thing that you see about when you meet someone, and is such a defining factor of who you are in New York. I'm thrown into high school where if you're wearing the same shoes 2 days in a row, people make fun of you. If you're not wearing Supreme, Bape, 10 Deep, Mishka, obviously I wasn't wearing those brands because there was no need in New York, but I also didn't like that you could get those brands financially quite easily if you were wealthy enough, and then it kind of made you cooler. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna make my own clothes and I'm gonna be cool, and then everyone's gonna wanna wear my clothes. I remember going to Blades, which if you're familiar with streetwear, it was a skate shop on 8th Street, and I brought in my t-shirt that we had in high school, and I go, hey, you guys, can I speak to the manager, buyer? Buyer comes up to me, he's like, cool graphic, what's the brand? And I remember like, who gives a fuck what the brand is? You like the t-shirt, you'd buy the t-shirt. He's like, yeah, I mean, it's a great graphic, but what's the brand? And I couldn't understand that he cared more about the brand than the t-shirt. I thought if it's a good t-shirt, it sells in your store. And so I remember leaving there and being like, guys, the only thing that matters is the brand. And that was, I mean, I learned at 15. So by the time I launched my thing at 17, 18, I was so brand focused and so story driven that I was ahead of my time just because of that one experience at 15. I went to Brooklyn Tech High School, which is a real math and science public school in New York that you have to test into. And so there weren't too many art classes. And so me and my friends that were drawing a lot decided to take our drawings and put them on t-shirts. I had been wanting to start a t-shirt brand, and so we got together and we're like, we're a designer, you're the head of marketing. And we were 8 kids from all the boroughs that came together for the brand. Every little decision we argued over, because there was like such a weird hierarchy. Everyone wanted to be boss. It's really hard. Especially New Yorkers, everyone's got an ego and thinks they're a superstar, and so that was always causing problems.
Hey, so the first shirt, we were sketching like mad shit. I was doodling on this wall. We had all this stuff.
So then Jay Sunny Money comes and he's like, yo,
what the fuck, man? I really wanted to create a t-shirt.
And then at the end, we were arguing over who should get more money, and it was like, guys, we're arguing over $300 divided by 10 people. So when I knew that from an early age that you needed kind of a singular vision and you needed a captain if it was really gonna work. And so after high school, when I Beyonce'd them and went solo, I knew I had to have the vision. My sophomore year, I had been kicked out of my dorms for spray painting the walls and turning my room into a store. I said, fuck it, I'm gonna get a store and live in the back. No one believed me. I knew when I started KidSuper I was gonna have to go solo for a good couple of years until it was established that my vision was the one to follow. And it wasn't so much of an ego thing, it was just something that seemed necessary from my high school days. I just think when you're starting off, doing is more important than fucking talking about it. Okay, almost done. Let's see how it looks. When I launched that, I had friended all of Mac Miller's friends on Facebook. And because me and Mac Miller were the same age, there was always like a 6 degrees away. And so I kept messaging all of them and I was like, look, I have this brand, I think you'll like this t-shirt. And I remember they were into tie-dye at the time, and I had made a specific tie-dye if I ever got the chance. I was like, actually, if you're ever in New York City, I'd love to just bring you the box. And he responds, we're in New York now, come over. And I was like, okay. I'm 18, 19, Mac Miller's 18, 19, and I'm like, hey, like, here, this is my first time doing anything like this, my first time any celebrity wearing KidSuper. And Mac Miller comes up to me and he's like, you're the t-shirt kid? Like, oh, let me try that on right now. And takes off his shirt, puts it on. And at that time, I was always like the ham enthusiastic person. And so seeing him act like that was like, I was like, oh, this is why he's so successful. He's just so, he was the energy, he was the light bulb. And so I got all excited about it, and he puts on the clothes, takes the picture, and I'm like, holy shit. And for the press photos, he's wearing the KidSuper hat. And you don't really see the logo, but you see the floral brim that I had, you know, that was my one design, genius design moment. And so it ends up being his face on the homepage of iTunes wearing my hat. From launching 3 months to the head of, for the cover of iTunes, I remember calling my mom, I'm like, I made it. So I have the store and no one's coming in because as you can see, the location isn't, it's really close to an above ground train. It's not Soho. There's not that much walking traffic. It isn't really a shopping area. And so not many people were coming in and I was just sitting working retail. And I was like, fuck. And then there was like a light bulb moment. I was like, I created this world. I was like, I don't need this to be a store how you think is a store. This can be anything I wanted. So Converse calls me to consult on who's cool in New York. Because I knew someone who was interning there. They hit me up, they're like, Colum's tapped in. I'm like, not cool, cool, not cool, not cool, cool. They're like, oh, you're kind of cool. I was like, I think so. They're like, why don't we use you for the shoot? I was like, I've been waiting for someone to say this. And they're like, okay, you can do this shoot. I get to the shoot, it's a photo shoot, and they're like, it's $5,000. I'm like, I am not paying $5,000 for this. What do you think I am? They're like, no, we're paying you $5,000. I'm like, you're paying me $5K for these and I'm like, take the pictures, let's go. I was like, holy shit. I was like, I'm a top model. And so I remember getting the $5K and being like, I have now the money to blow on this space. I'm gonna make it the fucking Willy Wonka factory I always wanted to do. So I built a recording studio in the basement. What's the lyric? You know I'm not that good at rapping. Getting on the beat is hard. I bought sewing machines, I bought backdrops, and I remember being like, okay, I can't make the recording studio the best recording studio because I don't have the money, but I can make it the coolest. And I love hidden doorways. And so I was like, I need there to be a vending machine door that can slide in to get into the recording studio. I mean, this is illegal and I might get arrested. I don't know, statute of limitation. I grew up playing soccer on this thing called Pier 40, and you'd always get your bag stolen there. And so I remember, okay, there's no cameras there, but they have these vending machine doors on the side of it. And so I dressed up like a construction worker with one of my best friends, and I took a angle grinder and I sawed off a door of a vending machine, and I wrapped it up in bed sheets and we walked it out as construction workers. And it was the heaviest thing ever, and it was such a fucking project. I felt like a 007 Ocean's 11 thing. It's really heavy, and we had the coin box still in it with all the coins. And I had brought my friend who was very much against it and very much not mischievous. And the whole time he had the side that had the coin box on it, and I was in the front and it was on our heads. And the whole time he's like, you fucking piece of shit, like, I've got the heavy side, go fuck yourself, I can't believe you got me to do this. And I, knowing and needing him, I'm like, dude, you're the strongest man I know. I was like, I could not do this with any other man. And I'm like, your biceps look gorgeous right now. We finally get it back to the basement. And we're like, my friend is so paranoid about the whole thing. He's ripping out all the electric. He's like, there's tracking. We gotta burn the serial code. They'll find us. And we end up lifting it up. And on the flap, right, there's a sticker, and it says, only those who want to be forgotten give up. And we look at each other and we're like, oh my God, this is our monolith. This is our Jesus moment. This is my cross. And so I always look at that sticker like, fuck, man. What I say is like, there's moments of magic in KidSuper. I built the whole thing. I did the electric of it. I now am like a semi-pro carpenter, but I figured out how to get it to slide. And I was like, oh my God, I made the coolest recording studio. 2 months later, my friend Doug, who now works with KidSuper on KidSuper Records. So Doug hits me up and he's like, there's this artist from Atlanta called Russ. He's releasing a shit ton of music. His videos are bad. His aesthetic's bad. Would you want to do a music video for it? I bring Russ to the store. Russ sees the recording studio. He's like, wow, this is an amazing vibe. He's from Atlanta, right? So New York is, you know, the heart of music to some people. And it had the energy. You could hear the train tracks. It was in the basement. It had the vending machine door. There was art everywhere. He ended up staying 4 to 5 to 6 months on and off, sleeping in the basement. And that's everything I wanted. I wanted someone who, I was always like, KidSuper's artist in residence. But it's more of a hostel. But it actually ended up being an artist in residence. He never really left the basement. He'd wake up at odd hours, but he was so diligent about making music, and I'm so diligent about making things, that we really clicked. And 2-3 years later, he drops his debut album. 4 songs were recorded in my basement. It ends up going platinum. I now have this huge plaque that's platinum record made to KidSuper Records. I mean, what's not more magical than that? All because I stole this fucking vending machine door. So someone walks into the store and they're like, so what's next, Colm? So people are wearing your clothes, you're getting a little bit well known, what's next? And I jokingly say, Paris Fashion Week. And I'm like, I'm fucking around. And the fact that they don't doubt me, I'm like, okay, I can't doubt myself.
You're fucking awesome.
I dropped 30K on the venue. I dropped 180K on the whole project. And I had 170K in my bank account. So the way clothing works, right, is, I mean, as everyone knows, but you kind of have to have a bank of money because you have to keep ordering the next. So like, it'll feel like you have a shit ton of money, but then you're like, oh shit, my next collection is 120K. And I'm like, man, if I'm gonna go for this, if I'm gonna go for Paris Fashion Week, am I gonna stop myself for 20K? Like, to stop this really important moment in my life because of fucking money? No. I wasn't gonna sacrifice the vision to save 20K. I know it's hard to make 20K, but not if you're really doing it, right? And it would be not believing in myself, right? Oh, I can't make 20K back? Colm, you're a failure. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go big or go home, right? I rent this venue. And so I'm like, holy shit, this is real. My parents are European. They're like, we wanna come. I'm like, perfect, please come. And they didn't know, but I was like, Mom, I want you to walk. Dad, I want you to walk. And they're like, haha, good one, Colm. The show's called Bull in a China Shop, right? And that's kind of how I felt, right? I'm in a place where I don't feel like I belong, but I'm gonna fucking break something, right? I'm gonna make enough noise that you can't ignore the bull in the China shop. Next day, wake up, they text me, you got the Vogue review, right? We end up getting this review, and on the review, it's like, Colm is the breakout hit of Paris Fashion Week. And then at the end, it says, go big or go home in the article. And I'm like, holy shit, this is everything we were saying. Thank God we got the fucking 30K for this space, blah, blah. And then I get back to New York, and I don't have enough money to Uber myself home. And so my friends pay for the Uber. But yeah, what a story. That was really my first step into getting accepted into the fashion world. I had come from such a streetwear background, which there can be a ceiling on your creativity with streetwear just because, you know, hoodies, t-shirts, they don't want you to be making dresses and stuff like that. So this was me stepping into that fashion world and being like, I came from this, but I'm just as talented or just as hardworking or harder working. I like that, you know? We broke in. I think the thing that's so beautiful about KidSuper, it's this like childlike belief that anything is possible. And I think everyone has that in them. So I don't think there's too many people I can't collaborate with. I've often tried to think of brands that I wouldn't collaborate with. And I even think like Viagra, I would do the collaboration and I would make sweatpants with a little bit more on the bulge part just for, you know, when it gets rock hard, you got a little bit more space. And I think that is hilarious and KidSuper and already a brilliant marketing idea. So Viagra, I'm ready.
You're not only marrying people this weekend, but you have a collab with J Balvin.
We've collaborated with Shawn Mendes, J Balvin, ASAP, Joey Badass, Kehlani, Russ, Lolo, Zwei, Steve Aoki.
What was the feeling like when you made your first million?
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I never talk about how much money I have, but it's like right now. Like we were just calculating our thing and I was gonna screenshot my bank account. But the thing is, I'm about to spend that fully on this new space. Oh, fuck, the train. That's a funny question though, complex. Going towards things fearlessly, trying as hard as you can. It's all about going for it, shooting for it. Thank you so much, I appreciate everyone. Yeah, I really do not care at all about money. I've had way more beautiful moments with $0 in my bank account. So now that we have a decent amount, it's just how to fund and support and make more of those amazing moments and also creating memorable things, you know? I had a lot of goals in my life. Now I'm trying to hit them.